Good morning, chair yogis. I hope this video finds you well. I'll take us through our practice today. We'll go for about 45 minutes or so. So find yourself seated in your comfortable chair. You can go ahead and scoot all the way back if that feels good to have that support of the back of your chair. Begin to settle in, take any adjustments, any little movements to wiggle it out, get settled. Finding the feet on the ground. So you can always be barefoot, or maybe you're in socks, or maybe you're in shoes. Just allow your feet to become settled on the ground. Begin to feel the chair along your legs, maybe your hips and your back. And from here, beginning to close the eyes or soften the gaze towards the floor. Let's take a moment to notice any sounds outside of our space. So maybe we hear some street sounds, or maybe it's raining, so we might hear the rain. And beginning to bring our attention into our space, noticing the sounds within our space. And then beginning to draw our awareness into ourselves. What subtle sounds do we hear in our body? Maybe we can hear our breath. Maybe we hear something in our stomach. And then beginning to check in with our sense of taste, noticing any tastes in the mouth. Our sense of smell, noticing any smells. And then beginning to notice on our skin, maybe the sensation of our clothing, the texture of the mat, the texture of the chair, maybe a cool breeze running along our skin. And beginning to notice our breath, meeting our breath where it is at today, being the observer, noticing how we are breathing. Are we breathing in and out of our nose, in our nose, out of our mouth? Where can we feel the breath into our body? Can we feel it all the way to our abdomen, or do we feel it in our chest? And inviting ourselves to slow down and lengthen our breath. Inviting in a sense of expansion and lift on the inhalation, and a relaxation, letting go on the exhalation. And today I invite us to feel into our bodies, begin to listen to our bodies. So all about feeling and listening. Beginning to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, maybe open the eyes and begin to turn the head side to side. And begin to circle the wrists a few times, circle the ankles. And then bring both feet back to the ground if they're lifted. Let's go ahead and scoot towards the edge of the chair, taking our feet about hip distance apart, and that could be at the bony points of our hips or the widest point of our hips, depending on what feels most supportive and stabilizing today. Let's begin by feeling our feet on the ground, feeling our toes, the balls of the feet, the heels, and beginning to create the sensation of pressing down, rooting through our feet. And noticing as we do that, how maybe naturally we have a lengthening, a growing taller through the spine. Feeling a sense of lift through the crown of our head, through our neck, creating space in the body. Feeling connected and supported by the earth beneath. Let's bring our arms by our side, palms facing forward for our seated mountain pose. From seated mountain pose, let's begin to round our shoulders up and back a few times. And then round the shoulders up and forward. And then we'll place our hands back on the lap, palms facing down. Let's inhale, begin to lift into our seated cow. We kind of shift forward on the pelvis, lifting through the chest, lengthening, lifting, opening through the chest. As we exhale, tucking through the tail, rounding the back, chin towards chest as we round into cat. Inhale, we rock forward, lift up, lengthen, open up through the front body. Exhale, we tuck and round. We press the back body towards the chair, closing off the front body. Continuing to rock back and forth. Inhalation finds us into cow. Exhalation, we move into cat. Maybe even closing the eyes here, detaching from any visual distractions so we can really sense what's going on through the whole spine, from the tailbone up the sacrum, lower, middle, upper, all the way to the neck, to the connection of the head. We'll take one more exhalation into our cat pose, and then we'll meet back in our neutral spine, back to our seated mountain, arms by our side, palms facing forward. Let's begin to sway our knees side to side. Maybe we come towards the edges of our feet, continuing to find the length in the spine here. Maybe we allow our arms to kind of sway a little bit. Maybe we even, as we sway the knees to the right, we take our arms to the left. Maybe we add a little rotation here. And I'm trying to smooth out the movements here. Maybe at first we feel a little rigid or tight or stiff. And then maybe the more we move into our poses, we begin to feel a little lighter, a little more smooth with our movements. And let's come back to center. Let's round out the shoulders a couple more times again. And then let's bring our hands to heart center. We'll reach our arms out wide, palms facing forward. Let's inhale, begin to rotate so the palms face towards the ceiling. Maybe we lift our gaze as if we're moving into a cow pose. As we exhale, begin to round slightly. Palms begin to face the ground, chin comes to the chest. And we'll flow here. Inhale, open it up, palms facing the sky. Feel free to bend the elbows any amount here. So tuning into the arms, the shoulders, the upper back, the neck. If any portion of this feels painful or just not the right movement for you, I invite you to make adjustments. Maybe even bring the hands back and come back to cow and cat. I feel like we can't get enough cow and cat in throughout our day. And we'll come back to center. Let's come back to a neutral spine and bring our hands to heart center. From here, let's just kind of shake out the wrists, the arms, turn the head side to side, maybe even round the shoulders. And we'll place our hands back on our lap. Let's inhale, circle sweep the arms any amount towards the sky. Exhale, flipping the palms, floating the arms back down. Continuing to move here with your breath, your pace, several rounds. And we'll take one more full round. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, lower the arms. Allow the arms to rest by the side, palms facing the legs. And then beginning to turn the arms in and out here long ways. And bring our palms to face forward once again, seated mountain. We'll combine our cow-cat and our arm sweep. So let's begin to inhale, reach up, maybe look towards the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, hands come to the lap, lift up, arching the spine, cow pose. Exhale, rounded cat. And we'll continue to move here. Inhale, circle sweep. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Resting hands on the lap, we lift up, cow. We exhale, round cat. Let's take a couple more rounds, your own pace. Allow your body to be the guide. The next time we round into cat will be our last. We'll once again meet back in this neutral spine in our mountain, palms facing forward. Take a couple full breaths here. And then we'll take our hands to our lap. We're going to kind of come into a forward fold. So one option is to come back to our cat, rounded here. Other option is to actually hinge forward and begin to round towards the legs. You could place your arms on the legs, or you could reach your hands for the floor if that's feeling accessible today. A forward fold, tucking chin in, kind of pulling it all together, then placing the hands on the lap, beginning to mindfully lift back up. Let's come back to our neutral spine. Inhale here. Exhale, begin to find your forward fold, beginning by hinging at the hips, coming to your arms, or actually reaching the arms towards the ground, beginning to let the head and neck relax. And then very carefully, intentionally lift back up. One more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, begin to find your version of forward fold. Once you find your forward fold, take a couple full breaths. And then begin to mindfully, intentionally lift back up. We'll meet back in our mountain pose. Feeling the feet on the ground, the legs in the chair, the length of your spine. From here, let's walk our feet out wide and turn our toes and knees out slightly. And begin to just kind of rotate around, just kind of inviting in some random movement, loosening up the joints, and relaxing the nervous system. And we'll come back to center. Let's inhale, reach our arms up, finding our seated five-pointed star. Inhale here, exhale. Let's begin to lower elbows towards the rib cage for our seated moonflower flow. Inhale, we lift up. Really think of spreading through the fingers, through the palms if we can. Exhale, using the shoulder blades to guide the arms down. Inhaling, we lift. As we exhale, pull the shoulder blades towards each other and down the back. So finding that connection there, finding your stability through your shoulder girdle, your shoulder blades. The next time we lower will be our last. And keep our knees wide, our legs wide, keep our arms by our side. And then bring our hands together at the heart. Let's lower our hands back to the knees. And once again, just kind of wiggle it out. Maybe let the knees sway, let the upper body sway. Random movements here. And come back to center, feet back to about hip distance. Pausing for a moment, allowing the movements to settle in. Let's inhale, reach the arms back up. As we exhale, begin to rotate towards the right, taking left hand to right leg, right hand anywhere on the chair or perhaps the hip. Let's inhale back to center. Exhale, rotate over to the left. And we'll begin to flow at our own pace. Very gentle rotations here. We're not forcing anything. We're allowing the body to move naturally. And as we do this, I encourage us to try to keep our legs, lower body grounded and secure. So we're working on the rotation from the upper back a little bit more. Let's take this to the left one more time, the right one more time. Let's pause when we rotate to the right. From here, let's inhale, come back towards center a little bit, and then exhale, rotate back to the right. Inhale gently towards center, exhale towards the right. And kind of adding this little pumping action here. Maybe you notice with this, you can get a little further with each round, but again, making sure that it's moving without force or aggression. It's dramatic, but that's what the word that came to my mind. And we'll come back to center. Let's round out the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen the spine, create space. Exhale, rotate to the left. Same thing here. Inhale, we kind of rotate back towards center. Exhale, we rotate to the left a little bit. Pumping. And we'll come back to center. Let's pause in mountain, hands on the lap or by the side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let's lower the right hand down. Reach the left fingertips up, right fingertips down. Pause here for a moment. And then we'll float the right arm back up, lower the left arm. Reach up with the right, down with the left, softening through the shoulders. Inhale, left arm back up. Let's take this again. One more to each side, lowering the right arm, reaching down, reaching up opposite directions. Sweeping the right arm back up, lowering the left. Left reaches for the floor, right towards the sky. Let's bring it back to center, both arms up, soften through the shoulders, lowering the right arm once again. Hand might come to the edge of the chair. Inhale here, exhale, tilt a little bit or any amount towards the right. Let's begin by looking down towards the ground and then turning the head up towards the sky. And then one more time towards the earth, towards the sky. Somewhere in between, let's lower the left arm down. Feel that energy perhaps moving through that left arm. Let's pause here to feel what we feel. Do we feel any different sensations between the right and the left side? Let's reconnect with the feet to the ground. Nice base of support, length through the spine. And then let's reach our right arm up. Inhale here, exhale, tilt gently to the left. And then begin to look towards the ground and then rotate to look towards the sky. Again, towards the ground, towards the sky. And then we'll meet back in center with our gaze. And then lower the right arm down. Again, notice that energy, that sensation perhaps through the right arm, noticing any differences left and right. Let's open and close the hands a few times. Let's circle the wrists a couple times in each direction. Let's keep our arms by our side, palms facing our chair, and begin to rotate long ways through our shoulders and arms again. And then come back, placing the hands on the lap. Let's take our palms to touch, begin to rub our hands together, massage our hands, massage our wrists. And then gently gliding our hands up our arms, gentle, very gentle massage here. Kind of waking up the skin. And then come back to center, perhaps rounding out the shoulders. We'll pause for a moment and then we'll bring our hands to heart center. Palms to touch, thumbs to heart, heart to thumb. And from here, let's begin to kind of move our thumbs away from our chest a little bit and begin to rotate the fingers away from us. And then rotate the fingers towards the sky, maybe even begin to rotate them towards the chest. So exploring your range of motion, checking in with the fingers, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. Remembering to check in and feel, and then begin to listen. Is the body telling you, yes, this is okay, keep going? Or is the body telling you, ooh, not so much, back it off? And we'll come back to center. Let's lower the elbows. Let's interlace the fingers, noticing which thumb is on top, and then flipping the palms down and away. So kind of angling towards the ground. And breathing here, really pressing through the arms, lengthening through the arms. Maybe we notice some space between the shoulder blades here. And then let's rotate the palms back, pause at heart center, flip the palms again and reach straight out, kind of at shoulder height. So getting lots of different angles here. And then floating the palms back. And then lifting up and away a little bit further. Again, checking in. Is this okay to the body? Bringing palms back to heart. And we'll take straight up overhead. Rooting down through the feet, through the sits bones. Softening shoulders away from the ears. And then bringing the arms back down. Let's notice again which thumb is on top. Shake it out. Open and close the hands, circle the wrists. Bring the hands back together, opposite clasping this time. So opposite thumb on top, and then rearrange the fingers also. So now it's going to maybe feel like the awkward position. So pausing here, and again, we'll flip the palms, press them down towards the earth at an angle. Just noticing any differences here. For me, it feels more awkward. I even feel a little like more restricted. So just being curious, not judgmental, just noticing. And then bringing our hands back to center. Let's reach them straight out at shoulder height, pressing through the palms. Coming back to center, angling up. And then back to center, and then straight up and overhead. Again, rooting through the feet, through the sits bones, lengthening through the spine, shoulders softening away from the ears. And then let's just unclasp the hands, circle the wrists on the way down, shake out the arms on the way down. Let's round the shoulders, nice. And then we'll begin to make our way towards standing. So feet are flat on the ground. We'll begin with our weight shifts, forward and backward several times. Let's inhale forward, exhale, rock back. Pulling navel towards spine, engaging the core here. We can always stay right here as an option. Otherwise, we begin to move into our sit to stands. Inhale, stand up, find your nice mountain pose. Exhale, go ahead and sit back down and continue to flow. Several rounds here, your breath, your pace. One more round, full round. So one more inhale to stand, one more exhale to sit, and then we'll come back to our standing mountain pose. Let's begin to rock a little bit forward, backwards, towards the toes, towards the heels, and then begin to rock side to side like we're on our boat. And then let's come back to center. Begin to feel into our feet once again, noticing the toes. Checking in, do we tend to grip our toes? If we can, relax the toes, pressing in through the balls of the feet, the heels, lifting up through the arches, up through the legs, nice strong legs. Feeling the center of the pelvis, like kind of inner lift up there, a lift up through the spine, through the crown of the head, softening through the shoulders, arms reach towards the earth, light fingers, palms relaxed. Let's take 2 more full rounds of breath here. Full inhalation, complete exhalation. And we'll pause here in our mountain, and then we'll reach our arms up overhead. Exhale, let's bring our hands to our heart. Let's take that 2 more times. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. 1 more time. And then we'll pause here. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, sit into our imaginary chair. Begin to bend at the knees, press the hips back, keep a long spine, heart lifted. And then inhale, let's move back to mountain. Let's reset here. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, hands come to the heart, sit to the chair. And continue to move at your own pace, making this mindful and intentional, feeling the feet, the legs, the energy moving through the body. Next time we come to chair, I invite us to pause for 3, 2, 1. Stand back up, mountain pose. Let's take our feet a little bit wider. Invite in empty coat sleeves. And then we'll come back to mountain. We'll take our feet out wide. Now, know that you can always use your chair as a prop anytime you need it. Every day is different, so some days you might need it, some days you might not. So an option here, we're going to come into our moonflower, is to take our hands to our chair, take our feet out wide, toes and knees turn out, and we take our wide squat up and down. That is one option. The other option is, if we feel pretty balanced here today, we can reach our arms 5-pointed star, exhale, bend down, elbows towards our rib cage. So we practiced this in our chair. We used our arms. And our legs were static. This time we're adding the legs to the mix. Feeling the strength of the legs here, taking a break whenever we need it. As we stand up, really think of pressing through the feet, root to rise, squeeze those glutes at the top of the movement, reach with the fingertips. Exhale, we lower down. Let's take a couple more, just moving at your own pace. The next time that we meet in five-pointed star, we'll pause, lower the arms to shoulder height, palms facing the sky, and then bring our palms to touch at heart center. Very carefully walk the feet back together, back to our mountain pose. Bringing our arms back by our side. Let's allow our palms to face our legs. Maybe even turning the arms in and out like we did in the chair earlier. And we'll pause. We'll bring our hands back to our heart. We're going to step our feet wide again, preparing for our warrior two pose. So we'll step feet wide, and we'll begin with our right side. We'll begin by turning our right foot to the right, beginning to bend any amount through our right knee. And this left leg is long and straight. We're pressing actively through the outer edge of the left foot. Remembering your stance can be any width. Maybe your stance for warrior two today is this. Maybe it's out a little further. So make some adjustments where you feel nice and steady and stable in your warrior two. Feeling your feet on the ground, a little bend in the right knee, lengthen the left leg. Let's bring our hands to our heart. Our hips and our chest are facing the long edge of the mat, if you're on a mat. And then we'll reach our arms out shoulder height. We can always bend our elbows. We'll begin to turn our head to face the right, softly gazing over the right middle finger, warrior two. We're going to add some flow, some movement here. As we inhale, let's lower our arm, straighten our right knee. As we exhale, bend in, lift the arms up. Let's take this a few more times. Inhale, stand up, lower the arms. Exhale, bend into the knee, lift the arms. Let's take two more full rounds. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift and bend. Last time, pausing back at warrior two. And then we'll straighten our right knee. Bring our hands to our hips. Turn our right foot in. Maybe walk the feet in slightly. Ground into the feet. Maybe bend through the knees and move into our pelvic, our hip circles, our hula hoop motion. Bringing in that fluid, water element. And begin to switch directions, some playful movement we could think of. And then we'll pause back in center, reconnect, feet to the ground. And then you can always use your chair if you need to in our warrior two. We'll come to warrior two on the other side. So this time turning left foot to the left, bending through the left knee, stretching out through the right leg. Again, adjusting your stance where you feel nice and steady and you have a good foundation. We want to start with a really good foundation. And then we can reach the arms out, maybe look to the left, gazing over the left middle finger, softening the shoulders, remembering we can always bend the elbows. And we'll flow. Inhale, we straighten the left knee, lower the arms. Exhale, we bend and we lift the arms. Continuing to move a few times at your own pace. And what do you feel in this pose? Where does your attention naturally get drawn to? Is it your legs or your arms, your neck? No judgment, just noticing. We're just learning a little bit more about ourselves as we move through our yoga practice. Next time we're in warrior two, let's pause. Let's straighten our left knee, bring our hands to our hips once again. Turn our left foot in, slightly walk the feet towards each other, but a slightly wider stance. Again, let's move into those pelvic hip circles, bending the knees here, maybe switching directions. And then we'll come through center. We'll walk our feet closer towards each other. Keeping our hands at our hips for a moment. Think of pressing down through the hands, kind of grounding ourselves to feel supported, feeling your feet on the ground as we lengthen up through the spine, through the crown of the head. And then let's bring our hands together at heart center. Let's lift the elbows, press the heels of the hands down. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, pull the arms down, lift the elbows, press the heels of the hands down, soften the shoulders. Let's take this 2 more rounds. Inhale, let's lift up. Exhale, lower down. Kind of feel like a genie here with this today with my pants and then this arm movement. And we'll pause here at the bottom, really actively pressing the palms towards each other for 3, 2, 1. Let's shake it out. Round the shoulders, shake it out any way that feels good to you. We'll take our hands in our back pockets. Let's explore a little standing camel pose. We could always place our hands on the back of the chair too. That might be interesting. Or we can take our hands into our back pockets. We'll root down through our feet. Root to rise, root through the feet, lengthen through the spine. Then begin to lift up through the sternum, through the heart space. And maybe lift the chin slightly. And we're not really tucking our tail, but making sure that we're not overarching in the lower back. We're trying to get some extension in the upper back. And it might be very subtle. Most people are really tight up in the upper back. So it might be very subtle. We may not even feel it. But creating that intention, right? Where attention or intention goes, energy flows. So think of pressing down through the feet, lengthening up through the spine, lifting the sternum and breathing. And slowly release it back to center, rounding out the shoulders, opening and closing the hands. Let's come to our balancing pose, our tree pose. So finding your tree, I invite you to begin your tree on any side today. What is calling to you? My right side. So I'm going to root down through my right foot, open up my left hip, resting my heel on my ankle, continuing to find that rooting to rise experience. And maybe we keep our arms down today. Maybe we begin to explore branches. So creating your expression of your tree on this side. Maybe it's a dancing tree. Maybe you need to move some energy. Finding your tree. We'll take a few more breaths. Wherever you are, let's bring our arms to give ourselves a hug, noticing which arm is on top, and then releasing the legs. Let's begin to shift our legs and feet around, our weight around. And come to center again, notice which arm is on top. We'll open back up, mountain pose. Coming to tree on your opposite side, taking your time, root to rise, find that foundation, and then options with the arms. Remembering this side might be different. Wherever we are, let's give ourselves a hug, opposite arm on top, softening through the shoulders. And then we'll release our legs, staying with the hug, shifting weight forward, backwards, and then side to side. And then we'll release mountain. Let's take a moment to thank our bodies, our minds for all of the standing poses we participated in, and we'll make our way back to seated in our chair. Excuse the dog, I don't know what he's barking at. And just resettling into your chair. And once we arrive back to the chair, let's stretch our left leg out and in front of us. Point the toes and then pull the toes towards the sky. And then pulling the toes towards the sky, pressing through the heel. Let's lengthen out through the left leg, any amount, whatever that is for you. And really feel maybe a stretch sensation through the left calf, the left hamstring. Maybe you feel it into the glute, the hip, the back, the neck. And lower that leg down. Let's stretch our right leg up. Let's pump the ankle a couple times. And pause, feeling the stretch through the right leg. And lower that leg back down. Crossing the left ankle over the right. And then we'll give ourselves a hug. Let's bring our right arm over the left, softening through the shoulders. Now we can stay right here, or we can begin to round forward slightly, chin to chest. Maybe we round through the back. Full inhale, complete exhale. Let's take one more full breath, one inhalation, one exhalation, and then lift back up if we're rounded forward. And let's unwind. And then switching sides, right ankle over left. Just getting settled with the legs and then giving ourselves a hug once again, this time left arm over right. Again, option to stay right here in center. Begin to tuck and round. I invite you to notice the space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, we feel lift and expansion. Exhale, relaxation, letting go. One more full breath. Let's lift it back up. This time, let's keep our legs crossed so our right ankle is over our left. We'll inhale to prepare. Exhale, let's rotate towards the right, left hand to right leg, right hand anywhere on the chair or hip. We'll pause in a rotation, thinking of pulling right shoulder blade towards the left. Let's begin to lengthen our exhalations, noticing the length of your inhale, and then lengthening your exhale. And let's bring our gaze towards the earth. Maybe that means the chin comes towards the chest. Take it through center, around the shoulders, softly. And let's switch the cross of the ankles once again. So left ankle is now over right. Let's inhale, prepare, exhale, rotate towards the left. Right hand to the left leg, left hand chair, hip. Let's pull the left shoulder blade towards the right, increasing that rotation slightly. Maybe we notice a little more opening through the chest and the shoulder. And then softening the gaze towards the earth so chin might come towards the chest. Let's take it all back to center. We're going to take one more forward fold that we practiced earlier, remembering the option is to come to cat. Or inhale, prepare, exhale, begin to hinge forward, resting forearms on the legs or reaching arms towards the ground. Being curious, do you go a little further now or with a little more ease, with less stiffness since we've been moving our spine in all directions? Let's take a few full calming breaths here, inhaling and then lengthening the exhale. When we feel ready, let's mindfully walk ourselves back up to seated. From here, I invite you to take any last movements or shapes or stretches that you might need to finish up your movement portion of the practice. Prepare yourself for your seated Shavasana. We take a moment here. And then eventually making your way to stillness in your chair. And as you arrive to stillness, reconnecting the feet to the ground. Maybe you want to scoot all the way back to the back of the chair to feel nice and supported. And then once again, we will soften our gaze towards the earth or close the eyes, turning inward, letting go of those visual distractions. And today with our body scan, we will begin at the tips of the toes. From the tips of the toes up the soles of the feet, the balls of the feet, heels, taking it up through the calves, the space behind the knee, the upper legs, the glutes, the lower back, middle back, upper back, back of the arms, elbows, lower arms, backs of the hands, backs of the fingers, fingertips to the palms of the hands, the wrists, lower arms, space of the elbows, the bicep area, the front of the shoulders, the collarbones, the chest, the heart center, down the front body, the abdomen to the pelvis, hips, hip creases, tops of the upper legs and knees, down the shins, tops of the ankles, tops of the feet, tops of the toes to the tips of the toes. And bringing awareness to the back of the neck, the front of the neck, the throat space, back of the head, softening the ears, allowing the ears to soften so that we may listen to ourselves, listen to others with compassion and love. Bringing awareness to the temple skin softening, and softening the jaw, the chin, softening the mouth, the tongue. Inviting in kind words to ourselves and each other. Awareness on the cheeks, the nose, the nostrils, the tip of the nose, the eyes, softening the eye sockets. Maybe look at ourselves and the world with kindness and love and compassion. Softening the eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows. Inviting in softness here, letting go of any judgment. Again, letting go of judgment to ourselves and each other. Softening the forehead and the crown of the head. Let's inhale here at the crown of the head, feel a lift through the entire body. Inhale here, exhale, soften down the whole body all the way back to the toes. I invite you to take that 2 more times, inhaling at the crown of the head. Exhale, letting go, relaxing. 1 more time, inhaling, crown of head. Exhale, let it go. And from here, I invite a next few moments of stillness and rest. And I invite you to pause here. And then you'll hear my voice again shortly. If you have the time and the space, however, you could stay here longer. Begin to bring awareness back into this present moment, feeling the feet on the ground, the legs, the hips, the back in the chair. Beginning to notice the breath once again. Beginning to expand our awareness outside of ourselves to our space. Beginning to invite movement into the fingers, toes, maybe wrists, ankles, maybe head and neck. Gradually invite yourself to open the eyes if they're closed or lift the gaze, adding in any additional movement. And from here, let's inhale today, sweep arms overhead. Exhale, gather hands together at heart center, palms to touch, thumbs to heart, heart to thumbs. Perhaps bowing our head in a sign of reverence, and then taking a moment to thank yourselves for taking time for this practice of yoga, your self-care practice. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide. It is always my honor and pleasure. And I hope you can take part of our practices into your everyday lives. I hope you can sneak it in a little bit every day. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Be well, and I will see you again soon, or you'll see me again soon, I guess.